Hey, welcome to the Squamish Experience Center. Come on in, have a look. Looks like you're renting a bike today from us. So your bike's ready to go for you. We're gonna get you out the door in a few minutes, but I'd give you a quick tour of the shop. Basically what our space is a demo center first off, and secondly, the Experience Center is gonna allow you to come in and take a look at all the bikes that we make, whether it's the top of the line e-bike, kids bikes, and so forth. In front of the store is gonna be like the layout of all of our bikes, our motor systems, and our batteries for our e-bikes. We even have a fit studio here. We do some retail as well. With our rental bikes, you can come in and you can do a walk-in anytime that works for you. You can also book online. Our rentals are for a 24-hour period, so you can pick the bike up, ride it all day, ride it the next day, bring it back in. You don't even have to wash your bike. We'll do that for you. And then if you do love the bike, we actually are just starting to sell bikes. So we are becoming a retail center now. So we do have some supply of bikes, and then we'll be getting more next year, of course. Yeah, perfect. So whenever people come in, you get trail advice for free. We love telling people our favorite loops and new trails in town to check out. We are located right at the base of the trail network system in Squamish. So you can see Valley Cliff, one section's here, and then you have the Diamond Head networks as well as Isles Lake areas as well to ride. So yeah, you can come in here and for no charge, you get awesome trail advice.
All right, so this is Upper Half Nelson. It is a hiking, biking, no horse, no dirt bike kind of trail. And yeah, we're gonna drop in. First run of the trip. Okay, let's have fun. Nice blue trail. There we go. Dark, tricky to see with the sunglasses on right now, but that's okay. Nice and smooth. Rock section. Oh, this is nice. Oh, great berms. A little too fast for that one. That would have been a good double. That Upper Half Nelson section, which was great, and I've stopped here at this little shelter, which I think is an amazing little addition to a trail. It's a nice reminder, an opportunity to sit down someplace comfortable, especially if it's raining here out on the coast, and just have a little rest of your legs so that you're fresh and thinking clearly for the descent. Admittingly, I did the climb and I was in such a hurry, I more or less just clipped and dropped straight in. So I thought that I'd take this as an opportunity to talk about what bike we're on this week. Well, this is a Specialized Status 140, which is the smaller travel variant of its cousin, the Specialized Status 160. And what makes this bike unique is it is actually a mullet setup, meaning it has a 29-inch front wheel and a 27.5 rear wheel. Now, admittingly, when I reserved this bike, I actually thought it was a 29-29. And my thought process for reserving this bike for this area was knowing that it was, or anticipating I should say, it was going to be rooty. I thought the 29-inch, the larger 29-inch wheel would roll over that terrain easier. and thus not requiring quite as much suspension travel to compensate. As such, I opted for the shorter travel variant. I came to find out after placing the reservation that it was actually a mullet setup, which is interesting because they are becoming more and more popular. In fact, Jeremy was telling me that Specialized is actually making many links for their existing bikes that are 2929, allowing you to run that smaller 27.5 rear wheel while preserving the factory geometry, or as close to it as possible. And so, admittingly, these mullet bikes are actually becoming really popular while people start to play around with the benefits and trade-offs that come with the respective wheel sizes. And I actually have a bit of a personal connection to mullet bikes because in 2003, after working something like 11 months at my part-time job at McDonald's in high school, I bought a Specialized Big Hit Comp. It was beautiful, it was red. And truthfully, I didn't really know much about the bike. Nevertheless, at the time I loved the bike. It was a perfect first mountain bike. And it was a time when mountain bike, as a sport was evolving, kind of as we are now. And it in fact had a dual chain ring, or maybe even 3 chain rings in the front. Yeah, I think it was 3 chain rings in the front, which I opted to reduce down to 2 instead of the one that we see here that is standard on all contemporary, mountain bikes. But it also had something that was really unique that we didn't end up seeing catch on, and that was that it was a mullet as well, except it had a 26-24 rear wheel. The time that I bought it, it was just, it wasn't anything that factored into my decision making, but as I owned it, and even after I owned it, it was always it felt like a bit of an embarrassment because the standard was 26-26, and so to have a 26-24 was, a weird failed experiment. And I'm actually really, really glad that mullet bikes are here because I can now put aside 19 years of embarrassment and actually, maybe subtly flex that I've been doing mullet a lot longer than it's even been called mullet. Of course, no credit to me, but ironic that it was a Specialized bike. One thing that I was really hoping to test out here on the rental bike series is exactly how that translates to the trail. Do you lose that playful poppiness? Do you need the mullet setup as to try to bring that back into a 29-inch bike? So it'll be interesting to see how this bears out. The only way we can do that is hit the trail. So I'm just going to drop back in to full Nelson, and we'll get to it. Nelson, straight ahead. Okay. Gosh. Ooh, I thought that went straight. Lots of trail work. Thank you, everybody. Working on this. Oh, wow. Woo! Balls up. really hope I'm on the right trail. I've seen a few branch off here and there. Whoa! Don't know what that was. That was dusty corner. Oh, braking bump. Oh, this is neat. Lots of changing light in here. Well, here we are, wrapping up day 1 in Squamish. I'm about to drop into Ditch Pig, and I've been getting the red line of death that my phone is dangerously low on battery. So I'm going to start the recording. Fingers crossed we make it the whole way, but if not, I will see you later on day 2. All right, here we go. Ditch Pig. Oop, that was the right turn. I thought it was going left. Oh, here we are. A natural. Whoa, that was not rollable. Open up. Let's go low line because I'm getting blown off. Let's stay down in the chutes. Oh, I hope this video. Whoa! I have no idea where I'm going. I'm assuming this way. If not, we're going this way now. Oops. Gosh, this is really confusing. Squamish 50, Ditch Pig, low DW. I don't know, is it to the left or to the right? I guess to the left. Oh, cool. Old feature. Gosh, that's steep. Gosh, which way? Ditch Pig 2? I'll just go left. Up where we're going. Oh, lots of braking bumps. Where I'm going. Left. Oh. Oh, that was a good crash. Sorry.
Hey, you okay?
Oh, yeah. I,
Lost the front wheel.
Ooh, that's slippery. All right, let's see if we can make it to the bottom without crashing again. Oh, things are sore. Things are very sore. Actually, I don't know what this is. Am I going up a trail?
Well, here we are, morning of day 2 in Squamish.
As anticipated yesterday, the battery did die. However, it died just after I had a bit of a crash. And I was watching the footage back, and there was what I thought that I knew, and then I heard a comment that the cyclist behind me had made. He had thought my front end simply washed out, which is partially true. What had happened was I was coming into a section. I don't even know if I was on the correct trail or not. And I was really sort of second guessing myself, wondering, should I, stop, turn back? It was too steep. I can't. There's a chute. And then there was a tree with what looked to be potentially a right line and a left line. And the right line, I couldn't tell what was on the back side of it. And, riding blind, I don't like to jump into things, not knowing what's on the other side. So I've been trying to roll everything. And not being able to see it, I decided to take the left line. And I was coming into it with a bit of speed. So it was quite steep. And what I believe happened, piecing everything together, is I believe the front wheel started to wash, and then it dropped over a root into a hole. And with the handlebars turned slightly, that just shot me forward. I hit the stem of the bike, and then I went over the bars. So that was uncomfortable, to say the least. It was a little sore last night. So far, so good today. So I had considered maybe doing some morning laps in this area, but I think maybe just a fresh start to the day might be in order. So I'm gonna head over to the Alice Lake Zone, which I understand to be where most of the iconic Squamish slabs are. And that's something I'm really looking forward to, that quintessential Squamish exposed rock. So that's the plan for today. New day, new start, new zone. So yeah, cheers.
All right, so here we are at day 2 in the Alice Lake Zone. We are aiming for a trail. It is basically the iconic rock slab of Squamish. The guy at the bike shop had given some sage advice saying take it as slow as you can, because once you start picking up speed, it is almost impossible to slow down. So I think that's good advice. Where are we headed? I think 50 Shades of Green, that's our climb trail. So my plan is to head straight toward the In-N-Out Burger Trail. So the status in this particular build configuration has an NX drivetrain by the looks of things, and compared to the Trek Remedy that we were on, it's definitely a lot skippier. It's less positive feeling in the shifts, a little more like, this is going to be a weird analogy, but the difference between cast materials and forged. Pedal strike. Ooh. So I've just paused here for a second as I'm doing this climb trail
Definitely not that I'm already covered in buckets of sweat, because it's, I think, 28 Celsius out here today. She's a warm one again. But just to admire how absolutely beautiful this forest and this landscape is out here. I don't think this is considered rainforest or anything like that. I really don't know. Maybe just coastal. But my gosh, it's pretty. It has a nice sort of cedary, piney sort of smell to it. But it's just gorgeous. Remnants of old stumps decaying here. Ferns coming up from the ground. I mean, it's as beautiful in person as you would think it would be from watching videos. You know, 17 years of watching Drop In, The Ride Guide, all those great classic shows, finally making it out here. I was thinking about this on the drive out, actually, that it's been 17 years since I was 18 years old that I'm finally able to do this. And, you know, there is some degree of regret for not having made more of a an emphasis or a point to actually come out here. So if you're in part of the world and you're, you know, trying to balance, you know, rising inflation and cost of living and wage, and I can understand that. I'm in the same position as you are. But if this is something that you think might be in your financial capabilities, then I certainly encourage you to come out here and experience it for yourself. It's every bit as amazing as you think it would be. All right, here we go, entrails. Oh, I've not clipped it. Peddly little section with all these roots. Oh my gosh. Oh, where is the trail? Up here now. Okay. I think, yeah. God, I have no idea where I'm going. We're on the end hole connector for just a short period of time. And then, yeah, bony elbows, this one right here. This was recommended. Well, this is kind of more like it. This is an actual trail. This is what I really wanted. You know, like I'll pedal up, pedal down, but whatever that entrance type trail is, not for me.
Hey, Future Colin here. So I can appreciate this section of trail is really shaky with the camera, and it was too good of a trail to cut out. But as I've mentioned in previous videos, until I have 1,000 subscribers and my videos become monetized, then I really just need to make do with the camera equipment that I have right now. So my apologies, because again, this is not the quality of video that I really want to make, but GoPros are not cheap. So I appreciate your patience and understanding. All right, back to the film.
Oh, pretty little area in here. Very nice. Come on, Colin. There it goes. You know, I thought at a couple points in time recently I might like to get a trials bike. I'd like to formally withdraw that request, because this hopping over route business, it is not what I'm interested in. But look at that view. I can take interest in that view. Oh yeah. Oh, how nice is that? You know, something I'm personally really bad at is actually just stopping and taking a break. I can get really in the habit of just go, you know, focus on the time, you know, trying to pack in so much that I end up missing experiences. So for example, last night I tried to do so much, I didn't end up getting to camp till quite late. Just after the sun went down, I got some residual sunset, but I had really looked forward to just sitting in a chair, drinking my beer, watching the sun go down. As it was, I drank half the beer and passed out in bed. So I came to this spot here on, I believe it's Bony Elbows. Beautiful overlook. You can see the, I think it's the Squamish Bay. There may be a formal name to it down there, the city. Just past that one mountain that's a little bit more hazy in the distance is the Pacific Ocean. And yeah, I just wanted to stop, you know, if I'm here 5, 10, 15 minutes, take in this experience. Again, for me, this has thus far been a once-in-a-lifetime experience, coming out here and doing this. And the last thing I want to do is to get home and feel like I've rushed. Yeah, if you come out here, take the opportunity to pause and enjoy the scenery and enjoy the experience. I was not clipped in. Still not clipped in. Oh yeah, this is good trail. I really like it clipped in right now. There it goes. Oh. Well, good morning. You join me on what I'm calling bonus day, or day 2.5, which is really technically day 3. And how did this all work out? Well, Specialized does 24-hour rentals from their Squamish Experience Center, which means you get to choose when your pickup time is. Now for me, I still had a couple hour drive down to Squamish from where I was staying the night previous. So I chose a noon pickup time. What that meant is that today, I actually don't need to return the bike until noon. So it essentially works out to a quote-unquote 3-day rental, even though I really only have until noon today. So if you are proficient and able to get up early enough and get out to the trailhead, then you can essentially squeeze in another day of riding, or morning thereof. So that is exactly what we are going to do. We're just looking for a trail called Pseudo-Tsuga-Part 1, and we're going to follow that down to Part 2 as well. Let's see here. Pseudo-Tsuga, there we are. All right, Pseudo-Tsuga, here we go. Oh, nice berms to start off the morning. Every morning needs some coffee and berms. Oh yeah, a little rocky, but that's all right. Just keep your head up. Where do you want to go? Ooh, lots of loose gravel here. The guys in town were saying that these trails are running pretty loose. Lots of talk about front end washing out. Say it even rides a little bit better wet. Last section here. Oh, lots of holes. That was a nice close section. Weird sharp fin into moto bumps. There we go. Pseudo-Tsuga 1. Let's just keep the good times rolling, shall we? Pseudo-Tsuga Part 2. More raw in here. Head up. There we go. And you can hear the tires just wanting to slide out. Up here. That was a nice little drop. Chickened out. Tried to use it as a catch berm, but I don't think it worked. Braking bumps. There we go. Pseudo-Tsuga Part 2. Well, that may very well just wrap up my experience here with the Specialized status. We'll see you back at the truck. Well, we just spent the last 3 days riding the Specialized Status, the mixed wheel 29-27.5. Call it a value proposition because it was a really well-featured bike. It was aluminum frame, but it had a good kit on it. And let's break it down. Starting with our Alice Lake day. Unfortunately, I ran out of battery. It was low when I started for some reason, and it cut out at the worst opportunity. So let's just walk you through the way that I went that day. We started off at the Alice Lake parking lot, a couple hundred meters onto Beck's Grind, then to Jack's, which is a green trail. The climb trail was 50 Shades of Green. Make a left, not a right, and then continue up the 50 Shades of Green Part 2. That gains you the ridge, which is Of Mice and Men. And that continues down to a trail that if I never ride again, it will be too soon. I say that half-hearting, joking, but also serious. That is End Trails. In hindsight, it's a very aptly named trail because it is just a field of roots. In fact, it is flat and roots, and at some point it is a climb and roots, and rocks, but especially roots. It's just an absolute maze of it. So I'm told it was a tech trail. It was one that was recommended to me, but also it was a necessity to get to a trail called Bony Elbows. Annoyingly, I really recommend trying Bony Elbows first before the Piste de Resistance trail. And the reason being is that Bony Elbows features 2 rock slab sections that are fairly short and an opportunity to gain confidence while having ability to roll through them. Make a right onto Access Road 2 and you'll go a few stops down to In-N-Out Burger. This is where you're going to find the classic Squamish big slab overlooking the valley. It is just as pretty in person as it looks like in photos. I would love to do like an evening ride on this. I think that would be amazing. In hindsight, once you've done the Bony Elbows once and suffered your way through entrails, you can basically miss most of that if you actually do the same sort of climb and instead descend down Rupert. I have not been down it, but it comes highly recommended. Get onto the Masheter, which is like an access climb road, and just rip that down all the way to the Access Road 2. Yeah. Now, when I got to In-N-Out Burger, my phone was telling me that it couldn't record, or because of low battery, should I record anyways? I tried, it did not save it. And thus will begin sort of the tale of the giant fish. Did I do the classic rock slab? Well, I want to preface that by saying I hadn't walked the feature. I was told there was kind of a necessary sort of jump, lunge, drop at the end of it, which was in the shade, which I couldn't see from the top. Riding clipless, the cleats were quite exposed and largely preventing me from walking down safely. And the brake on the Status, unfortunately, at this point, I could pull straight to the handlebars. So all of which were not confidence inspiring. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave you hanging, and you know, I guess we'll just never know if I did it. So yeah, except I did. And cue footage.
You did it so good, I had to do it.
That's right, I did the famous rock slab anyways. I couldn't come to Squamish and not do it. Besides, it was the back brake and you use mostly the front brake anyway. You got the one that does most of the work, right? It was awesome. From there was a couple of sort of rock slab, drop rock kind of turns, and basically you're out of the trail. So that's a classic, highly recommended. But I want to close up here by talking about the Status, because the Status actually represents something I didn't anticipate
for this whole series. I came into this series perhaps naively thinking that, you know, I could find the best bike for me and my riding style, not the best bike in general, but at least as I would want it. And as it turns out, that there's not necessarily even a best bike for your style, but a best bike for your style for your area. And I think that that's really important, because out here in Squamish, in the Garibaldi Heights areas, you know, there's a lot of sort of root to hole drop situations. And that 29er for me saved me a couple of times by keeping the front end up. As you did see, I did still have a crash that was partially my fault, you know, washout, but it went into one of those holes, and that's what stopped me and threw me forward. But that 29er actually did have some benefit, and I could, it would be very understandable if you were talking to somebody from Squamish, asking them what's the best bike, and they were recommending Mullets, because out here, that 29, you know, helps keep that front end up a little bit. The speed and the pace of the trails, you know, they do get tight, and you will feel that hold you back. I had a really good discussion with those folks that I met up with. One in particular, she was saying that when she has clients, you know, she being a cycling instructor for Whistler, that the trade-off with that 29ers, while it is easier to roll over objects, you know, there's a trade-off with cornering, especially tight, slow speed cornering. And I'm going to circle back to this at the end of the season in my wrap-up video. But yeah, that was something that I even noticed on a couple of turns where, you know, maybe I thought the trail went one way and went another, and I had to slow down more than I thought. The best bike for the person in the place, I think, is the interesting takeaway. Again, actually, I really like the bike. It climbed well. I didn't necessarily notice that it had a 27.5 in the back, which I guess is a compliment to the bike and its geometry. I don't know if I would rather have had a 29 in the back, if that really would have done anything to help me per se, or maybe it just would have taken away some of that fun factor. And I've since spoken to a couple of people, Jeremy at the Experience Center. He had you know, ample praise, and others as well, that have complimented that bike as being a great value proposition while maintaining fun, but also offering you know, that mullet setup, which, you know, can help some riders in some places. I think the Status in general is really going to be well suited for somebody who may be new to the sport, that you know, could benefit from a little assistance with the 29-inch wheel in the front, but you know, wants to ride aggressively and, you know, pop off things and kind of have a bit more fun on the bike and a little less serious, a little less racy. Or even someone who is maybe a more experienced rider that doesn't like the seriousness nature of a full 29, or just doesn't quite honestly need nor necessarily want the longer travel. There's lots of folks out here pedaling around in 170 bikes, and this Status is 140, and I did not once think that it needed more travel. In fact, on that note, I think with the larger front wheel in the front, you don't need as much travel in the front, because that wheel's going to roll over things easier, as opposed to relying on the suspension to absorb it. So in essence, you might even be able to think about it as like a 150 or a 160, you know, should it have that 27.5 in the front. To surmise, I think it was actually a really fun, surprising bike that I got along with really well. I think it's got its place and its people, and I'm glad to have spent the better part of 3 days on it. So that's going to wrap this episode up. Thank you very much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it, and we'll see you in another one. You take care. Bye for now.